Hi everyone! Are you going to enter the Barbie Basic contest? We're going to try to win. Please like and subscribe.
They flip a coin, I choose heads, so it's tails. Next flip, I choose tails, then I lose again. When going for O, when playing bingo, I have B-I-N-G, but I'm waiting for the O. Then someone wins ahead of me. Lottery number 630, I get 24, 62, and 3. I'm not meant to win, but I'll try again. You can't win, you're gonna lose, but you try your best to pull through. You can't win, you're gonna lose, but if you don't try, this chance might pass you by. You won't win, you won't win, but unlike you, I tried it. Relay race, baton pass to me. It slips from my hand, I fall for all to see. I was chosen last for that team, 'cause everyone else is so much faster than me. They're this thing I've done, almost as good as the national champion. On competition day, they post the challenges, me against the champion, so of course he won. I'm not meant to win, but I'll try again. You can't win, you're gonna lose, but you try your best to pull through. You can't win, you're gonna lose, but if you don't try, this chance might pass you by. You won't win, you won't win, bet I'll lose. That I win. You're not meant to win, not in this lifetime. You won't win. I think it's a crime. You're not meant to win. You're average, jack of all trades, but best at nothing. You can't win, you're gonna lose, but you try your best to pull through. You can't win, you're gonna lose, but if you don't try, this chance might pass you by. You won't win, you won't win, but unlike you, I'll win. I'll win. I'll win.
Hey, are you going to join the Create Barbie Basics contest? Some of my first YouTube videos ever for this channel were reviewing the Barbie Basic dolls. You should go over there and check those videos out. I admit at the time I was mostly reviewing the dolls themselves and the wigs, and that was my major concern with the dolls, The wigs were a new experience for me that I ended up really enjoying. I really like being able to make them into different dolls just by changing the heads out, but changing the bodies with that new mechanism is still hard for me, so I don't generally swap out the bodies. Let's quickly go over the rules for this contest. From any of these sets, you can pick a head, a wig, and 2 articles of clothing for the dolls you're submitting, and that includes the shoes. What that means is, in order to really get a unique picture, you should realistically pick shoes and a shirt or shoes and a bottom from the Barbie Basics set, and then a Mattel skirt or pants or shorts, shirt, jacket, hat, sleeves, whatever. to accessorize with those pieces. And that will increase your chances of standing out. I don't think people really understood that's what they could do based on the submissions I was seeing. I mean, some people really understood the assignment. Others not so much. So, the biggest reason I got the Barbie Basic set was the new face molds, the black clothing, and the new black shoe molds. Since Barbie rarely does black, I took this as an opportunity to get more functional pieces of clothing. In my first reviews, I didn't really discuss the clothing or the shoes. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Have you ever worn one size fits all clothing? Well, that's the kind of feeling I get from these pieces. Let's start talking about the fabric. So, starting in the mid 1990s, this stretch rayon cotton blend fabric became really popular. It had a decent stretch and a weight about it. It was soft and comfortable. It looked really great on a variety of body shapes. It draped nicely, but if sewn correctly, it could even work as a blazer. I mean, just think high quality biker shorts. I mean, initially, it was easy to find clothing made from this fabric at Charlotte Russe and JCPenney. Then you started finding the darn fabric everywhere. Only one problem. The fabric quality dropped significantly. It was lighter weight and it wrinkled a lot easier. And it was so lightweight that when it sat close to your skin, you could see the ripples and lumps in your body that, the ones that you don't really want people to see. So, between the quality drop and the mass production, the material became synonymous with low quality fabric. And the fabric went back to mostly being used for sportswear. The low quality fabric is what all these doll pieces are made from. It's doll clothing, so I guess it's expected. But do I really want to be fussing about wrinkles on doll clothes? Unfortunately, this is where my disdain for these clothing pieces begins. But not where it ends. Because of the lightness of the fabric, the skirts don't drape as well as they should, and the pants wrinkle too easily. I think it's fine for the tops, but most of the tops are just like tube tops. This is probably the greatest problem with Barbie not putting out good fashion packs regularly. They always decide that when a fashion is a better design than usual, then they would rather put it on a new doll, which takes so long to get through production. So when the fashion finally comes out, was it like 10 years later? The fabric with these styles was like all the rage 20 years ago. I mean, Charlotte Russe filed for bankruptcy in 2019. This fashion style was dying well before they had to close many of their stores. But having unique doll clothing is more important than trendy clothing because trends always cycle back, right? And stretch fabric makes sense since they wanted the clothing to fit on all three body types, right? I mean, is there something else they could have done? I think so. Instead of sewing the elastic on the clothing vertically, they could have sewn it horizontally so that you can adjust the width of the fabric for each doll in the back, like a wrap skirt only using elastic. Velcro. I say this because right out of the box, most of the stretch clothing were too baggy for the petite doll. And if they did fit her well, the time you put it on the regular or the curvy doll, now you stretched it out and it doesn't fit her anymore. I think if you hot water wash them, they might shrink back, but you also take a chance of ruining the shape and the fit of the fabric altogether. One of my initial hopes for this Barbie Basic set was that they were going to normalize the dolls. For example, have it to where the hands and feet can pop off and make it easier to dress the dolls, and potentially you could swap the feet or make them to where they all have the same size feet, so they can all fit the shoes properly. Because the petite and the curvy have trouble fitting majority of the shoes well. For the petite, many of the shoes are too big, and for the curvy, many of the shoes are too small. The thigh-high boots, I was initially excited about it, but ended up not liking them at all. In order for them to fit a curvy doll, they have to be so big at the thighs, which makes them pretty ugly on everybody else. This would have been the perfect opportunity to use a heavy-duty stretch fabric, a wire, some other gimmick to make these thigh-high boots capable of fitting on all 3 body types. Wow, I mean, I've just been droning on about that, and I haven't even gotten to explaining my clothing choices here. So I got over the fact that the clothing and shoes really don't meet my expectations because I was enjoying the dolls and the whole wig thing so much. I guess that's why I wasn't sure about joining the contest. I mean, I'm generally a person who loses contests. So I'm just joining for fun. And because I'm making a video with it, it doubles as content. So, I mean, I went either way with that. I decided I wanted to do 1 doll of each body type. I initially had only glanced at the rules, so I decided to do 1 look using their top and their skirt and their shoes and just enhance it with other pieces. Even before I bought the set, when I saw that zigzag cut skirt, I was like, is that a witch's skirt? To complete the look, I chose the bell sleeve top. I thought the skirt didn't flip out enough or hang correctly because, again, the fabric quality. That's why I knew I needed to add a tulle skirt underneath. Finally, those overly pointy flats, which I generally think are ugly, but they're perfect for a witch's outfit. The wig was the toughest choice for me because it was all contingent on what color theme I was going to use for all 4 dolls. And initially I was going to go with pink and black. But Shakisha, it was her outfit that changed everything and decided the color theme. You know, to make her look taller, I wanted her to have a little mini skirt to make it look like she has legs for days. I had trouble finding the Barbie Basics mini skirt, so I decided to change the rouge skirt into a dress. There's actually bands placed at strategic points to make the skirt fit her like a decent dress. Unfortunately, when you change a skirt into a dress, it makes it difficult to follow the rules because I need 2 articles of clothing from the kit. This means I have to now use a pair of shoes from the kit. And this might just be me, but I feel like the beauty of dark skin tones is completely lost and washed out when darker skin tone women wear black near their beautiful faces. So I needed her to wear a lighter colored top or jacket, and for her outfit to really pop, I needed her accessories to have like color. And the only other color for the shoes in this kit is clear. You know, the jelly shoes. To me, the clear shoes will only look good with white, gray, or a plastic textured top. And luckily, I just purchased the Mycene Jai doll, who has a plastic purple jacket. And that texture will match well with the shoes. So that means that the color theme was going to be purple and black. But what wig to give her? Because to me, only 2 of the 9 wigs look good on this skin tone. I don't even like the color of the afro for this skin tone. The Hime cut wig and the blue and black bob are the only good wig for them. But on Shakisha, I'm not really a fan of those wigs on her. So I decided to go ahead and use the brown wig and just do box braids around the rim just for the photo shoot. For Ignacia, I decided to repeat the skirt as a dress technique with another long skirt and make that into a high split dress for her. It wasn't my original idea. I was going to go with something a little bit more Hispanic, but one day while walking my dog along the trail, there was a purple ribbon. There in the middle of trying to figure out outfits with a purple theme that I could do for the other 2 girls, and God blesses me with a purple ribbon in perfect condition. So I'm using that ribbon as the Empress waistband to give the dress more of a styled look. So just like before, I knew I was going to be stuck having to use their shoes from their kit, and my plan was to use the sleeves from one of the shirts. However, when I found the shirt, it was actually that the sleeves were sewn onto that shirt, and that would change the top portion of the dress, and I didn't want to do that. Cutting the shirt might not count for the contest, so I decided that this outfit will be the one that technically doesn't meet the criteria because I also don't want to put her in black shoes with a black dress. That's boring, okay? I used a black starred jacket from a Barbie fashion pack and purple heels. Ignacia looks good in all the wigs, but I really do enjoy her in the Hime cut wig. I believe it was on Broken Dolly TV's YouTube channel that she said that she felt that the Hime wig would look better as a bob. And when I put her jacket on, the back of her hair just got tucked into the back of her jacket naturally. And I looked at her hair, and she just looked like she had the perfect bob. So Broken Dolly was right. The wig does look better as a bob. Last but not least is Carmen, who in my doll world is a professional model. With her lips and ethnic features, I fell in love with her with the afro. It matched her skin tone really well. Since she's tall, I put her in the pants and heels, and initially I wasn't fully decided on the top. But by this point, I am so invested in using the stretch garments to be, pieces that they were not initially meant to be. So the weird top with those elastic strap that ties in the back and forms like this weird tail, I decided to just fill around with it, wind it around her body to make a different shaped top. And that's what she's wearing for the top half. But she has so much skin showing in the center, I decided to go ahead and give her a temporary belly button ring to make the outfit, a little bit more edgy. And I believe the fur coat is from Barbie Extra. So I think participating in the contest gave me the opportunity to really reflect on this purchase. What remained constant is my love of these unique face molds and the made to move bodies. And though I believe my favorite dolls have more to do with the body than the face, I discovered I have a high preference for the curvy body. My sister teased that it was because I'm curvy. At the time I said maybe, but now I've changed my mind. It's definitely. No matter what my weight has been throughout the years, I have always been curvy. I know how to dress my body. And so that carries over to the dolls. I'm also short, so you'd think that I would like those dolls too, but no. They have the same problem most petites have, which is not very many clothing options. And many doll clothes, make them look 12. It's not worth sewing for them because their clothes cannot be used by the other dolls, and their feet are too small. The wig play has become something I never realized I would enjoy so much. It's simple to make the doll look like another doll and adjust their personality with the wig. The wigs that initially were the biggest struggle have been the ones I play with the most. You cannot ruin imperfection. So they've been exposed to gel, glue, boil washes, braiding, cutting, and curling irons. To be honest, the resilience alone is actually impressive. What drove me to get all three sets, though, was the accessories, the unique clothing styles, shoes, and wigs. However, I haven't used the clothing or shoes at all for, reasons expressed. But repurposing and using them differently based on my imagination may encourage me to use them in the future. No guarantees, because I own a lot of doll clothes. So, the You Create kit has encouraged me to use my entire doll collection differently, which I'll show you in upcoming videos. And, even if you don't purchase this kit or have it, I encourage you to look back at your doll purchases and consider, was it worth it? Did it live up to my expectations?
If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for playing dolls with me.